Alright, here we go. MP brake issue. Here's the brakes that I had powder coated. This is the Wide 5 1966 ball joint front end disc brake kit for the front, and the rear calipers, which are here, have the e-brake. This dust is from the fact that they sat at the powder coater for 4 months while we were looking for O-rings, but they turned out really nice. Here's a basic example. This is the front, one half of the front caliper assembly. The other half would be here. But here is the piston dust cover. You can see on this one, it's right here. It's the piston dust cover. These have already started to crack. You'll never see it probably on this. There's tiny little cracks in here. This video isn't very good, but these I'm not so worried about, even though they've come off already a little bit. I'm not so worried about these, but the square ring that I'm talking about, and I'm going to move over here to the rear caliper. The square ring is what supports the piston. It goes around the piston. It sits in a little groove just inside of the caliper. I'll see if I can get this one stuck in. There we go. Almost. There. It sits in the bore, and then the piston comes in. I'm going to take this dust cover off of this piston. Come on, baby. Trying to do this with one hand. And then the piston goes inside the bore, and that square ring is responsible for sealing off the hydraulic pressure to the piston. This other groove is where this piston dust cover sits in. You put this inside of here, and that little lip sets on. Anyway, you get the general idea. The last problem that I've had, these rails mount up to the caliper and allows one piece of the caliper to float on the other, and they of course are protected by these rubber boots or dust covers. Let's see if I can find one. 2 out of 4 of these are already cracked, again just sitting in my shop. Let me see if I can find. There you go. I don't know if you can see that, but it's already split, just sitting here in my shop. I'd like to get all these parts, to be honest with you, if I could, because I don't hold out much hope that it's not going to happen again, that these parts aren't going to crack again. The rubber's obviously just not all that great. But here's my project. If you can see, stop my phone call here. Here's my project. This was my mother's 1966 Beetle. She bought it when she was 16. I am redoing it. I've got my wheels I've had powder coated here, and completely redid the chassis, new transaxle, new floor pans, and as you can see here are my brakes. These are the MP front disc brakes. I've POR 15, those black, that's why they're black. And then I have the rear ones here. These are the rotors for the, I said calipers, I meant rotors. Front rotors, rear rotors, and I just, as you can see, I'm stuck. I haven't installed the rear rotors and routed the emergency brake cables and all that because I've been stuck with this stupid parts issue. I have brake pads here. Brake pads are ready to go. I have everything here. Here's a part number. This may be the part number for the rear one. 22-29er-59er-Bravo. These are all the rest of my pieces to the emergency brake mechanism for the rear calipers. Had the rear brackets powder coated. Anyway, if I can get one of everything, it would be fantastic. There's a chance that I could nick an O-ring myself when I reassemble. I was working on them last night. I got this one completely reassembled. It's ready to go basically. I would like to, there was a small nick in that O-ring. I went ahead and used it, and I've been able to put pressure on it, air pressure, and it seems to seal the piston anyway. But I'd like to put 4 new square rings in each of these, you know, new dust covers if I could, because these, like I said, these have already started to crack. And then of course these boots, these are good. I bought the rear set at a later date than the front ones. These are about a year old and they're already cracked. These are pretty good, but still, I'd like to have them all. Thanks a million.